Praise be to Jesus. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Well, there's an article up that's really getting under my skin, so I think I need to control myself here. Before I start reading it to you, I'd like to say that for 2,000 years almost, the Bible and more recently the Catechism of the Catholic Church makes it very clear that if a person is baptized Catholic and when they grow up, if they choose to, knowing the consequences, if they choose to live a homosexual lifestyle, in other words, an active homosexual lifestyle, the Bible is very clear that they will not inherit the kingdom of God, which means they're going to hell. I mean, that's as simple as that. Um, Nowadays with all the darkness in the world and all the moral depravity, and with all this new way of, rethinking things and reinterpreting this, and as if the Holy Spirit has anything to do with this, which is absurd as far as I'm concerned. Um, People will argue that, well, we just need to, there's been a sort of a spiritual development into a new understanding, which is a bunch of garbage. So anyway, so here we are at the World Meeting of Families, and of course, people were concerned that Father James Martin was going to speak here, and he has. So I'll start reading here to you. Vatican advisors and pro LGBT Jesuit priest Father James Martin told participants at the World Meeting of Families today in Ireland that active homosexuals now, should be invited into parish ministries, specifically mentioning them becoming Eucharistic ministers in order to make them welcomed and accepted in the Catholic Church. Unbelievable. And this priest, so well, he is a priest and he still has his facilities, so call him what he is. He's a priest in the Catholic Church. Um, the only one who can do anything about this is his bishop, I would think. That's who he answers to. And he belongs to I'm almost positive he belongs to the Diocese of New York City. All right, so now he's going to talk here. As I've mentioned, there is a tendency to focus on the sexual morality of LGBT parishioners, which is wrong. Because, first, you often have no idea what their sexual lives are like. That's true. And second, even if they are falling short, they are not the only ones. Well, of course, we all fall short, but we're talking about, he's mixing up, he's downplaying the seriousness of the sins that they're committing. I mean, uh, would you want to receive the Eucharist from a Eucharistic minister, which I don't even go to them, I go to the priest. But would you want to, I mean, if you do, I mean, I suppose that's okay. Although it's really not supposed to be done anyway. That's a whole wrong thing that got started. There's a whole history behind that if you're interested in, doing some research about that, because that isn't really supposed to be happening. Um, would you want to receive the Eucharist from a person who has chosen to um, live in such serious sin? I mean, I just can't imagine that you would, that you would choose to do that. Although, as long as the host is properly consecrated, I mean, I do know one thing, that regardless of a priest's sins, you could have a an active homosexual priest consecrating the host, and I'm almost positive um, his own sins have nothing to do with the consecration, as long as the consecration is done properly. But I mean, it's just it just bothers me that that he's even that he's allowed to say this to who knows how many people. I don't know. We're going to find out here. Falling short. They are not the only ones. Well, of course, we all fall short. Um, but we don't. Well, we're not supposed to. Go and receive the Eucharist with a mortal sin. Although I'm sure some people do, but this is giving homosexual people the wrong idea about what Catholicism is all about, and we're not really helping them. I mean, to accept them, they might think that we're really helping them. Yeah, we're helping them go to hell is what we're doing. All right, that's about it. All right. As a result, LGBT people may feel they have to be dishonest about who they are and that they have no place in ministries. Well, they don't have any place in any ministry because Cardinal Burke is going to say something here about this. So we'll get to that. LG, where am I at here? All right, so as a result, LGBT people feel they have to be dishonest. All right. Like everyone else in your parish who does not live up to the Gospels, which is everyone, LGBT people should be invited into parish ministries. Eucharistic ministers, music ministers, lectors, bereavement ministry, and every ministry, he added. So, he's trying to paint a person who chooses to be actively homosexual as just one of the parishioners. I mean, we're all sinners, and he's really downplaying the seriousness of how some of them, at least, choose to live their life, which is in mortal sin. I mean, say what it is. I mean, you could say I'm judging, but it's what I believe. Okay, I mean, it's what I believe. It's my opinion. While the Catholic Church in the United States is beaten down, gripped with story after story of predatory sexual abuse and cover up by priests and prelates, the vast majority of which are homosexual in nature, the priest used his platform at the Vatican run event to lobby for the church to normalize homosexuality and transgenderism. Normalize it, exactly. All right. Cardinal Raymond Burke told LifeSite News, this isn't in 2014, but it's still applicable, that priests should try to stay close to parish members living in public sin in a homosexual relationship. I certainly agree with that. So as to try to help them to leave the sinful relationship and to begin to lead a chaste life. Okay? Those people who are living in that way, this is still Cardinal Burke speaking now, certainly cannot have any leadership role in the parish because it would give the impression to parishioners that the way they are living is perfectly all right. Because when we lead in a parish in a certain way, we are giving witness to the coherent Catholic life. And people who are not coherent with their Catholic faith aren't given leadership roles. They are not asked, for instance, to be a lector at Holy Mass or to assume some other leadership position until they have rectified their situation and gone through a conversion of life and then are ready to give and they're ready to be given such leadership, he said. All right, so I don't know. I probably shouldn't read any more of this. I just have like, well, I suppose I'm not too excited here because when I first read this a little while ago, it was like, you know. Well, there's much more to the article. I think I've told you basically what this is about. So, what are you gonna say? I tell you one thing. I think some of you, next time you go for the Eucharist, you're gonna look at the person twice and wonder, you know. I will say one thing. In the neighborhood I live in, Chicago, I actually belong to a parish that's is in a section of Chicago called Boys Town. This is the homosexual and lesbian neighborhood of Chicago. And I haven't gone to that church for a very long time. I have no idea what's going on there. I don't care about what's going on there. I knew years ago when I used to go there, the priest then was having a Sunday evening mass for gay and lesbian people, but back then I didn't think anything of it. Um, but it's not a place where I would ever feel comfortable. Even at the cathedral in downtown, um, I've seen a daily mass, men hug each other, and of course that's Cardinal Kupich. That's his place downtown here. So I go to mass over at a chapel at St. Joseph Hospital. It's mostly made up of just old people who live in the neighborhood along Lakeshore Drive, and it's very conservative. The priests I don't know too much about, but I know I don't, people, I don't have to. I mean, I receive communion from the priest, but the Eucharistic minister, I know most of them because I used to be not a Eucharistic minister, a minister of care in that hospital. So I'm familiar with some of the people there, so I feel comfortable there. And I don't know, maybe some of you next time you'll go to Mass, you'll be looking at the Eucharistic minister or the lector and going, well, I wonder what's going, but I don't know. I think what you really should do is if you don't really know a lot about your parish, maybe you should try to find out more. Some people just go to Mass and they don't really have anything to do with they don't really know too much about their parish. But I guess if you're feeling uncomfortable about that, maybe you should find out more about what exactly goes on there. Because, keeping yourself ignorant about these things is no excuse in front of God. Um, given what's going on, in Catholicism, God would expect us to be very aware of, certainly what's going on in in the church that we go to, whether it be every day or whatever, or weekly or whatever. So, I hope you all think about that. And then that way, you don't have any questions in your mind and you can feel comfortable. If there's something going on there that makes you uncomfortable, then you need to do your best to try to find another church to go to, which may be hard for some people. I mean, if you live, out in the country or something. But, well, okay. Well, that's almost 15 minutes. That's a long wrap by me. All right, I'm all calmed down now. you, you know. Okay, well, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.